From roasting Cait Jenner for her transformation surgery.
I had read in the paper that Cait Jenner was contemplating posing to say these things, so I just figured I'll say it for everybody else. Yuck.
To humiliating Rachel Dolezal for her absurd racial transformation.
It's like that white black that's in the news all the time. Shot her way up to the very top of blackness.
Here are 7 times Dave Chappelle absolutely obliterated celebrities. But let's start with Michael Jackson. Dave didn't even let him stay dead in peace.
You're goddamn sick of it. This is the worst time ever to be a celebrity. You're gonna be finished. Everyone's doomed. Michael Jackson has been dead for 10 years, and this has 2 new cases.
You can tell he's been holding this in for years. Buckle up, it's about to get spicy. Apparently, Dave watched that documentary everyone was talking about, and his review is, let's just say, colorful.
And if you haven't watched that documentary, then I'm begging you, don't watch it. It's f***ing gross. I felt like HBO was sticking baby in my ears for 4 hours straight.
His HBO comparison might be the most graphic description of documentary watching ever uttered on stage. The crowd is half gasping, half dying of laughter. Dave's about to describe Michael's alleged interests in a way that'll have you spitting your drink.
I want to know all these things. Turns out, Michael Jackson allegedly likes a long gander at the anus. As they said, he stares at people's that's what they said. That's how gross the documentary was.
The way he delivers that line about gander with a straight face? Legendary. He's painting mental images nobody asked for, but everyone's laughing at.
I'm gonna say something that I'm not allowed to say. But I gotta be real. I don't believe these motherfuckers. I do not believe it.
Dave giving 0 Fs about the backlash he knows is coming.
Let me qualify the statement. I am what's known on the streets as a victim blamer.
That self-description? Only Dave could make a confession like that sound hilarious instead of horrifying.
Dave, Michael Jackson was molesting children. Well, what were those kids wearing at the time? I don't think he did it.
His victim-blaming joke is so outrageous, the audience doesn't even know whether to laugh or call security. And then that perfect punchline reversal? Chef's kiss. Just when you think he's done with the topic, Dave throws in one more philosophical question that's equal parts disturbing and hilarious.
But you know what? Even if he did do it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, it's Michael Jackson.
Only Dave could make you laugh at something this wrong. And some people are even praising his bravery. I don't know if anyone else remembers how insane the world was when this came out, but this special felt like a huge victory for the voice of reason. But you know what's even more shocking? Dave Chappelle reading headlines about Cait Jenner.
True joke. I mean, it's not true, but I had read in the paper that Cait Jenner was contemplating posing in an upcoming issue of Sports Illustrated. And I know it's not politically correct to say these things, so I just figured I'll say it for everybody else.
Oh Lord, you know he's about to say what everyone was thinking, but too afraid to mention.
Yuck. Oh, sometimes I just want to read some stats. I don't know why you're gonna cram some man in the middle of the sports page like this.
Classic Chappelle timing. He just sits there and lets that land.
But I wasn't saying anything like Cait Jenner's a bad person. I'm not mad at her for doing it. Not even mad at Sports Illustrated. If I'm mad at somebody, I'm probably just mad at myself. You understand? Because deep down, I know that I am not strong enough to not look at those pictures.
See what he's doing here? Playing the "it's not you, it's me" card. The man is a master of misdirection.
And I don't think I'm ready to see what she's trying to show me. So Caitlin, goddamn it, if you go through with this thing, you better go hard or go home.
And then comes the worst part of this monologue, when he goes into some very visual, very explicit details.
I want you to go all the way. Hustler style. Do you know what hustler style means, miss? That means spread the lips.
Yep, he went there, but it gets worse.
I hope she spreads her lips and there's an itty bitty dick that. Ah! The show is behind the curtains.
The crowd is in absolute shambles right now. That's the Chappelle effect. He'll have you laughing even when you're thinking, should I be laughing at this?
I don't know what I said that upset that person. But I'm gonna tell you something. When I read that letter, and the moments after I read it, I did something that many black men in America do not have the time or the money to do.
Now watch how masterfully Dave shifts gears.
I thought about how I felt. Asked myself a very basic question that I don't think I ever directly contemplated. I said, man, Dave, if you're writing all these jokes, do you have a problem with transgender people?
What do you think, does he?
And the answer is absolutely not. You guys think I am? I don't understand all the choices that people make, but I do understand that life is hard and that those types of choices do not disqualify you from a life with dignity and happiness and safety in it.
Good save right there. But Caitlyn wasn't the only celebrity to feel Dave's wrath.
I denounce anti-Semitism in all its forms. And I stand with my friends in the Jewish community. And that, Kanye, is how you buy yourself some time.
When Dave hosted SNL in 2022, he opened with a jab at Kanye's anti-Semitic controversy that had everyone holding their breath.
But before I start tonight, I just wanted to read a brief statement that I prepared. I denounce anti-Semitism in all its forms. And I stand with my friends in the Jewish community.
Dave starts his SNL monologue addressing Kanye's anti-Semitic comments head-on. Notice how he sets up what seems like a genuine statement of solidarity.
And that, Kanye, is how you buy yourself some time.
Boom. One line, and the entire audience is in shambles. Dave's timing is unmatched. But then, he breaks down Kanye's ego on full display.
A year ago, I'd seen him on a podcast called Drink Champs. Great show. And it was an amazing appearance. Noriega and them were there, the rappers that I love, and they all had their gold chains and stuff on. And Kanye said, only millionaires wear chains. They said, what?
Now he's about to serve us the most Kanye thing Kanye has ever said.
He said, I'm a billionaire. Billionaires don't wear their money on their body. I tucked my chain and I said, oh, snap. That's right.
Billionaires don't what now? Only Kanye could make Dave Chappelle double-take his own jewelry choices.
But when he woke up, he went on Drink Champs again. This time, he was on one. He was mad about something. He said, I can say anti-Semitic things, and Adidas can't trap me. Now what?
Of course, this was the same interview where Kanye thought he was untouchable. Spoiler alert, he wasn't.
Adidas dropped that nigga immediately. Ironically, Adidas was founded by and they were offended. I guess the student surpassed the teacher.
This right here is why Dave is the GOAT. That historical connection? Absolutely brutal, and not a single word wasted.
I guess the student surpassed the teacher.
That last line is the kind of joke that makes comedy nerds rewind 5 times. Chef's kiss. But in true Dave fashion, even when he's honoring celebrities, he's roasting them.
Kevin is one of the greatest comedians that I've ever seen. And Kevin is one of the greatest men that I've ever known. Hello, Jerry.
This entire speech was a series of compliments followed by some quick-witted backhanded remark.
And I know that inside you feel awful sometimes, but I've never seen it on your face, and I've never felt it in your presence. And I am honored to know somebody like you. I really wish you would have come when I won this award.
Here's what you need to know. Kevin's all for honoring you, as long as you don't butcher his plans.
And I thought to myself, if I ever had a chance to honor you in front of your family, boy, I'll come running. I just wish it wasn't this Sunday because I was supposed to be in Jamaica.
But you know what? After saying such bold things on TV, he's a little scared of being attacked. And he explained why on his Netflix special.
Just afraid of being attacked. Happens to the best of us. Don't ever forget what happened to that French actor. You know what I'm talking about? Juicy Smouillet. He's a very famous French actor.
Watch how Dave milks this French actor bit until the audience is in tears.
Y'all never heard of Juicy Smouillet? Juicy Smouillet is an actor from France. And he became famous on a show called Empire.
3 times he doubles down on the French claim, and each time the laughter gets louder. For those of you who don't know, Jussie Smollett is an actor accused of staging a hate crime hoax.
One night, he was in Chicago late at night and was the victim He was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack.
When he starts laughing mid-sentence about Jussie being a victim, even Dave can't keep it together. The crowd is absolutely losing it.
You see, Juicy Smouillet is gay and he is black, not just French.
But hold on, because Dave's MAGA attacker description is about to get so detailed, you'd think he was an eyewitness.
Oh, it was a crazy story. Apparently, when he was walking down the street late at night, 2 white men came out of the shadows with MAGA hats on and beat him up. Tied a rope around his neck, called him all kinds of and put some bleach on him and ran off into the night.
Celebrity Twitter was not having the same reaction as regular folks, though.
International news. And everybody was furious, especially in Hollywood. It's all over everybody's Twitter feed and Instagram page. Justice for Juicy and all this shit. The whole country was up in arms. He was talking about it all the time on the news.
But Black America's reaction apparently didn't match the outrage memo.
And for some reason, African Americans, we were like oddly quiet. We were so quiet about that the gay community started accusing African American community of being homophobic for not supporting him.
Wait for it. Dave's about to drop the real reason for that community silence.
What they didn't understand is that we were supporting him with our silence. Because we understood that this was clearly lying.
Speaking of celebrities behaving badly, wait till you hear what Dave has to say about the infamous Shaun P Diddy.
I've been in trouble in my day. Well, I've been in a lot of trouble in my day, but man, let me tell you something. This guy, Puffy, buddy, this guy is in an enormous amount of trouble. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. They got this guy in a RICO case by himself.
You think your friends ask awkward questions? Wait till you hear what Dave's buddies wanted to know about those infamous freak-off parties.
A lot of my friends ask me, they say, Dave, did you know anything about those freak-off parties? And I'll be like, nah, man. I didn't know anything about the freak-off. And they all look at me like.
But hold on, because Dave's about to drop the most unexpected twist on why certain Hollywood guest lists never include his name.
And they'd be like, well, how all these people you know was at the freak-off, but she's the only one that wasn't at the freak-off. And I thought about it for a minute. I said, oh my God. I'm ugly. That's a tough way to find that out.
That moment of realization hits him like a truck, and his brutal self-assessment has the crowd losing it. Ever wonder what it feels like when you discover all your celebrity friends were partying without you? Dave's reaction is priceless.
Can you imagine if you were me reading the newspaper and found out everyone in Hollywood had a behind your back? Like none of y'all called me? Well, that really hurts. I'm glad they didn't call me though, because the stories that come out about it are crazy. I saw one thing on the internet, so I'm not sure this is true.
Nobody is as brutally honest as Dave, especially when it comes to defending his friends.
You know, all last year, I was touring with arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, living comedian, Chris Rock. Me and him toured all year last year.
So the monologue started with him mentioning how he was on tour with his good friend Chris Rock. But then Dave compares this celebrity moment to one of America's greatest tragedies.
And right before that tour started, Chris was involved in what we blacks might even consider a god 9/11. Chris got slapped in the face at the Oscars by Will Smith, which was one of the craziest things I'd ever seen. In fact, if you watch it live on television like I did.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. Dave reveals how he confirmed whether the slap was real or not, and his method is pure Chappelle.
I thought it was fake. I did, and I wasn't sure, so you know what I did? I waited, because unlike you, I know Chris. I waited like 30, 40 minutes, as long as it would take him to get to another party. And I called him on FaceTime, and he picked up. As soon as he picked up, he said, "You was the only I had to answer the phone for."
That phone call detail says everything about their friendship.
Apparently, Obama and Oprah, everybody had called this to see if everything was all right. And I thought it was fake. I didn't know. So I asked him, I go, well, you know. He said, what? I said, did it hurt? And he said, yes, it hurt.
Chris's answer is exactly what you'd expect from a real one. But the best part? When Dave explains what really offended him about the whole situation. You won't believe what Will did next.
Then I knew that it was real. And then, and only then, was I offended. And I wasn't just offended that he got slapped. That was only half of it. The real offensive part was that after they slapped him, this Will just sat down and enjoyed the rest of his evening. It was crazy. It was the f*** is this?
Dave's impression here is absolutely spot on. Later in his special, he circles back with a question everyone was asking him.
Before that, I'd been making fun of Chris Rock. And people would ask me all the time. They'd say, Dave, what would you do if you were Chris Rock and Will Smith slapped you in the face? And to this day, the answer is the same. Well, I don't know what I would have done. I've never been in a situation that extreme. But I do know now what Will Smith would not have done.
Dave's setting up a classic misdirection here. Watch how he flips it around. The punchline that follows? It's the kind of observation only Dave could make about what happened after the slap.
And that is, enjoy the rest of his evening. Man, listen. We gave that kid a good while. We was whooping his ass. Not we. I mean, I was on stage trying to think of a joke to tell, but they was beating this up right behind me. Everybody could see it.
That reveal about what was happening backstage? Absolutely wild. But one thing's clear. Dave's always treading on some seriously controversial limits. And he had a lot to say about this bizarre Rachel Dolezal moment that had everyone scratching their heads.
It's like that white black that's in the news all the time. Rachel Dolezal. She always says that. She's a white woman, but then she dressed up like.
The way he describes this woman's racial transformation has the crowd already losing it. Wait till you hear what Dave's secret fantasy meeting with this controversial figure would involve.
Shot her way up to the very top of blackness. And I always wanted to meet her just so I could understand. I just wanted to like have dinner with her so I could just look in her eyes and call her face.
You know, Twitter was probably on fire when this came out.
Bitch talking about, I identify black. That is trans talk, ladies. Stop biting. Stop biting. There's a big difference between her and a trans. The difference between her and a trans is I believe transgenders. I don't understand them either, but I know they mean what they say.
That stop biting line, pure Chappelle brilliance. And just when you think he couldn't get more explicit about his point, Dave goes for the most graphic comparison imaginable.
Them niggas cut they off. That's all the proof I need. I've never seen somebody just throw their away. Don't need it.
Dave just explained the entire controversy with one anatomical observation that nobody can unhear. Alright folks, if you like this video about Dave Chappelle roasting celebrities, you'll love the one up next, so click here to watch.